Thank God this is the last movie in the franchise. Because it means I can finally be done reviewing these movies. But yeah. As you can tell by the title of today's video, spoiler alert, I was not a fan of this movie. And today we are wrapping up the Critters series of movie reviews with the 2019 movie Critters Attack, the 5th movie in the franchise, because yeah, that's what the world was clamoring for. Because for some reason, Hollywood thought for some reason we needed 5 of these movies. Now, for those of you guys that have not seen my reviews of the previous Critters movies, if you guys saw my reviews, you would know that I really do like the first 2 Critters movies. I think that Critters and Critters 2, the main course, are very fun creature feature monster movies. I think they're really good. The 3rd one I was not a fan of, and especially the 4th one I wasn't a fan of. This, I will say, it is a slight improvement over the 4th movie, but not by much. Because I thought that this movie sucked. But anyways, before I get more into this rant, I want to hear from you guys down below in the comment section. What do you think of Critters Attack? Are you one of the extremely few people who like this movie, or are you in the minority of the Critters fan base that thought that this was a disappointing return to the franchise after a 25-year hiatus? So, what is the plot to Critters Attack? The plot to this movie is as follows. A reluctant babysitter must protect 3 kids from an invasion of ravenous critters. So, it's a pretty simple, straightforward plot, but... And again, do I think that there's an idea with this concept that could have worked? Possibly, but this certainly wasn't it. And honestly, another thing that I think really hurt this movie is the fact that it went direct to video, because most of the time when a movie franchise has a couple of sequels and then they wait decades just to do a sequel but make it direct to video, that's a sign that your movie's screwed, and this is one of them. But let's just get on with this rant because I don't want to talk about this movie for too long. So, the movie starts off in a town of Illinois, I think. I don't remember. To be honest, I don't care. But yeah, like I said, the movie's basically about a babysitter that has to watch these 3 kids and protect them from the group of critters, or the Krites. Basically the group of aliens, the small furry alien creatures that were in the previous movies. And this movie sucked. The only positives I will give this movie, despite having a limited role, it was nice to... Now, granted, despite having a limited role, it was nice to see Dee Wallace return from the first 2 movies, who basically played the main kid's mom in the first 2 movies. And I will admit, I do like Dee Wallace as an actress, you know, whether it would be, you know, movies like Critters, E.T. the Extraterrestrial. But yeah, I've always liked her as an actor, so... And I do think that of the actors in this movie, despite having a limited role, she does try the best with the material she's given. And so basically, the way the movie starts is you basically have this kid who is outside at nighttime looking through a telescope, and he basically sees a shooting star, but, you know, we as the audience know that it's a spaceship from the Critters or the Krites. And then at nighttime, one of the people gets attacked, basically, by one of the critters. And then there's this, and then the character played by Dee Wallace, who played the main kid's mother in the first movie, is now working at, like, a secret organization that's trying to track down these creatures. So this movie does have a nice ties to the first movie. I will give it that. And another positive I will give to this movie is, granted, most of it is CGI, and the CGI is absolutely terrible in this movie, but there is a couple of scenes here and there where they do use practical effects that honestly do not look so bad, so I will give credit to that. And the final thing I will give credit to is, so you know how in the previous Critters movies, all of the creatures were just black with red eyes? Well, They do introduce a new type of critter that's a different color in this movie, which I thought, okay, that was something a little unique and different, but yeah. Again, I didn't think that this was anything special. It wasn't anything that we hadn't seen before. But like I said, in the movie, you know, there's this babysitter sitting these 3 kids, and so early on in the movie, this babysitter and the 3 kids, they are basically walking through the woods, and they just so happen to find a critter. But instead of it being a bad critter like a bad guy, it's actually a good guy critter. And this critter, instead of being black and gray like the others, this critter actually has fur that is completely white all over with black eyes, which I thought, okay, cool. That was something a little different, you know. I thought that was a nice new design for a new critter, and there is some other stuff in this movie that I don't mind, like the whole scene where one of the police officers is attacked by, like, in an outdoor shower by one of the critters. Not a badly done scene, and, you know, like I said, most of the effects are terrible in this movie because a lot of it was used by really bad CGI, but the stuff that is practical is good. But other than that, I could really care less about this movie because this movie was just boring. I thought that the acting was terrible. I honestly thought that the acting, aside from Dee Wallace, was honestly pretty terrible in this movie. Like, I thought the actress who played the babysitter, I thought she sucked. I thought she didn't really have any charisma to her. And the kid actors, I really hate to harp on kid actors because they're kids, and, you know, they're trying to do their best job with the material they're given, but the material they're given is not good at all in this movie. And then, so what happens is the babysitter, she basically brings the alien, the white critter, to a police officer to prove that, you know, her and the kids were attacked by these aliens, but that this one's a good one, and the officer's not buying it. And then later in the movie, Dee Wallace shows up during, like, maybe the last 20 minutes, not even 20 minutes of the movie, where she's the bounty hunter, and, you know, and so basically the kids decide to leave the white critter behind because, you know, they decide it's the right thing to do. And then Dee Wallace basically starts shooting all the critters and stuff like that. But then Dee Wallace notices that the white critter saved her, and she's like, cover me. And again, another problem I have with this movie. My gosh, like, the acting in this movie was so terrible. Like, the acting is so bad in this for a direct-to-video movie. And my goodness, the CGI effects are absolutely awful in this movie. Like, you can very tell it is a low-budget direct-to-video, and the CGI effects are really bad in this movie. And another thing I did not like, I thought that the whole ending was stupid, where basically Dee Wallace is blasting a shotgun at, like, a bunch of critters rolling in a ball, and then, like, the green goo blood sprays on 2 of the kids and Dee Wallace, and then the kids like, see, I told you aliens are real. I'm like, wow, really? That's the way you decide to end this movie? Like, that's so pathetic. And I guess, okay, before I give my score to this movie, are there any positives? I guess really the only positives I can give this movie is, despite having a limited role, I do think that Dee Wallace does give a good performance in the movie, and she was trying the hardest of all the actors in the movie. Most of the effects are terrible, but when it's practical effects, it's not bad. I do like the idea of a critter being white all over, and my final positive for the movie is I do like the scene where one of the critters bit onto an electric wire and electrocuted itself. I thought that was funny, but other than that, this movie absolutely blows. It's a terrible movie with awful acting, really bad CGI, and just the same old crap we've seen before, and I would not recommend this movie. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give Critters Attack a... You know what? I'll give this movie a 3 out of 10. Not as bad as Critters 4, but not a good way to return to the series. I mean, because, again, Critters 4, I think, is still the worst, and Critters 4 was awful, but that came out in theaters in 1992. Like, you had 25 years to return the franchise, and this is how you return? Again, I would not recommend this movie. The only good Critters movies are the first two, but yeah. At least now, I'm finally done with this review series, and then I can do my ranking video, and then move on to a different franchise, but yeah. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching this rant, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.